Hey, you guys, are you feeling the pinch of the new economy? If you've run a small business or a private practice for a couple of years now, even the economy and what things cost are vastly different from even 2 years ago. So let's talk about how you can operate, still make money, and still be profitable and successful in this 2025 economy. My name is Adrienne Fuller. I'm a private practice owner. I'm also a speech language pathologist that actually loves business. So let's just get into it, okay? There are four things that you're going to need to do to kind of protect yourself and make sure your business is in good shape in this economy. Number one, you're going to want to be as profitable as you can. And I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking, well, duh, Adrian, we all want to be profitable. But if you're not careful, because we're running our businesses from day to day and doing a lot of things at once, if you're not careful, you'll be working, 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 and then you'll start to wonder, where's that profit going? Okay. So, first, let me remind you, revenue is awesome. How much I made in a year as a business owner, that's great. But how much you are actually keeping when you subtract expenses, payroll, things like that, that is what is the true number. That's what we're looking for. And so and I always use the example, you can be $1 million business, $1 million practice. But if your expenses are $950,000, to me, it's really no better than being a $50,000 a year practice, but if you only have $10,000 worth of expenses, that's the better practice to be. So bigger does not always mean better. So always remember that, okay? The next thing is know your numbers. We're still talking about being as profitable as you can. The only way you can increase your profitability is to know your numbers. Now, here are four sets of numbers that you can start off with by tracking regularly. And when I say regularly, I think monthly is a great amount of time to track, right? First, how much did I bring in? Checking your bank account every single day to be sure you can cover your expenses, that's not tracking. Actually doing your profit and loss, whether you do it or you have an accountant or bookkeeper that does it, that's some of the best money you'll ever spend, right? Because you know exactly how much you're bringing in. Sometimes, especially like in the healthcare sector, I think construction can kind of be like that too. You're getting big chunks of money at once, right? So you can get a check or a payment of four, five, six figures. So if you're not careful, you're like always kind of running like you won the lottery and spending like that. So you want to have a real good idea of what you're bringing in. All right. The next thing number you want to track is how much are you spending total? And so when I say how much you're spending, how much are you spending in salaries? How much are you spending in expenses? I know we all want the tax breaks, and I think it's great, but those are still expenses. Tax breaks and tax deductions are not dollar for dollar. And so a lot of times I'll hear business owners say, I got this new Mercedes, or I redecorated my home office. It's a tax deduction. And yes, it is a tax deduction, but you're still actually paying that expense, right? And so a lot of times my accountant once told me, like, Adrian, this is not dollar for dollar. You're better off taking your tax rate and kind of saying that's how much you're getting off of the price of this. It's a way of looking at it. So it's like I spent $100,000 for a company car that I wanted to drive, but if my tax rate is 20%, the tax deduction is probably could only be a 20%. I'm still paying a lot of money for this thing. Again, talk to your CPA, talk to your accountant. But if you start to look at it more like that, then like tax deductions are free money, you're better off. Okay. And then as a private practice owner, I always want to know how many people are calling, how many people canceled, how many people called, how many people did we evaluate, or how many new customers did I take in. You kind of want that so you know what's coming up, what's coming in your door, or what's not. Okay? A lot of times we don't want to hear what's not, but it's okay because then you know. All right? Okay, so number two, how to run your private practice in a new economy. You want to diversify your revenue. And so in private practice, it's really easy, especially in the speech therapy world, where a lot of owners that I know are like, I'm only private pay. That's great. But diversifying your income, no matter what your payer source is key. So if you're only private pay, consider taking a school contract or a nursing home contract or hospital, or taking a payer that may not just necessarily be insurance. Almost every state has a scholarship fund that parents or families can access without it being insurance. That's a great way to supplement revenue and in case you have parents that lose their jobs and can't quite afford it anymore, all of a sudden they really want to start using their insurance because that's covered, right? Or consider taking just one insurance plan. Check around, find the one that you're comfortable billing or comfortable taking. If you've had a lot of requests for that one plan, con- consider it. It's okay to take one insurance plan that diversifies you. If you are an insurance provider, consider again a school contract. I think is a great idea. Create a product. Um, Another thing would be to that scholarship fund. I think that's a really good idea. The goal of this, you guys, is if one of these falls off, funding stops, someone loses their job, would my practice take a huge hit, right? That's the goal of diversifying. Um, at the end of the school year last year, we were in a school contract. I was actually finishing up the school year and at one of the schools, and they were very worried about the state of funding, how it was going to all play out. So there was a hiring freeze, right? So if you are only taking school or doing school contracts, it might behoove you to, hey, I do therapy, but maybe can I also provide sign language interpreters, or could I provide teachers? You know, some contract companies are now hiring teachers in the same way. And so just trying to diversify in case that funding goes away. So how you can increase, be as profitable as you can, diversify your revenue, and then number three is become efficient. And so this is a time to tighten up schedules. If you have employees working for you, I look at it like this. If someone's working for me, I need to know what they're doing and why I'm paying them. If you're beginning to wonder, like, are they doing that may be an indicator you need to tighten up their schedule. You need to ask for more feedback from them. Not everyone's out to steal from you or rip you off, but it is very important, especially in times like these, that the people that we're paying are actually doing the jobs that we're paying them to do. It's not them giving it a try and then bringing it back to you and you finish it up. Because then why did you hire them? You know? And so start to streamline things. So if you are finding, hey, I get a lot of phone calls about my pricing, could you not put your pricing on your website? Or if people reach out to you a lot by email, create a autoresponder, not just that says, "Hey, thanks for checking in with us. We'll get back with you in 24 hours," but actually put real information there that really helps them decide if they want to use you or not, or take your services or not. And so start to streamline those things and tighten it up. Sometimes because we're not comfortable with the way we run our business or the way we pay or with the idea of money, we don't really follow up with it. Okay. So you might have a therapist or you might have an employee that stays on the clock a little longer than she should, even though she doesn't have any patients. Um, and now when I say patience, not like she's short with people, but like she has no one to see or there's no work being done. So it's really important that you get really clear about how you're paying and what happens if the patient doesn't come. What happens if there's like how are you paying? Like when you get really clear about that, that's helpful for everybody. All right. The next thing is let's talk about hiring. In this economy, everyone is feeling the pinch. So that means people who are looking for jobs want to make more money, and rightfully so. We want to make more money, and they do too. So it's always a fine dance that we're doing when we're hiring people. So here's a few things to help if you are having difficulty hiring and holding on to people. So the first thing I say is you need to start to get into the mindset of we're probably always hiring. And so don't be so quick when you're fully staffed to be like, "Ugh, we don't need anyone, we're fully staffed." You don't ever want to dismiss anyone because that could be the person that will work for you later. So it doesn't cost you hardly a thing to have a quick phone call or to say, "Hey, let's have a conversation. Let's see what you're looking for, if and see what I need and if those things align." Because in truth, even if you're fully staffed, one of your employees just has to get a better offer from someone else, or they could have an accident, or they could get sick, or they could have a baby, and then you're down a therapist and you might be feeling like you're scrambling. So it really benefits you to speak to people and always market. And I think when we talk about marketing, a lot of times we're only thinking marketing to bring patients through the door, but we're also need to be marketing to bring employees through the door, right? We want to position ourselves and our businesses and our practices in a way that people want to come work for us, right? And so that is one. Another thing is get real clear about how much it costs to have someone do a service for you. So I'm a speech language pathologist. How much does it cost for that speech language pathologist to see Johnny? Okay. And when you're figuring this out, don't say, okay, the parent pays me 120 for the session. I'm going to give them 90. I still have 30 and I can pay everything. Don't do that. You need to calculate exactly how much it's costing because chances are you're not quite calculating it all the way. We kind of undercut what our actual expenses are. So payroll, rent, any supplies, protocols, um, any manipulatives, anything that you're using that you have to purchase, insurance, all of those things, memberships, right? And everyone has a membership program. So if you even have participated in one or two of those and you're paying that on a monthly basis, that is something that you should account for. And so you just want to be really clear on how much you pay. I know a lot of us are coming from practices that we feel didn't pay us what we were worth, right? And so when I started, I was like, I'll never underpay someone because I want them to know that they're valued. But here's the reality. Money doesn't always make people feel valued. You can throw money at people and they'll come and they'll stay for a while, but that doesn't always keep them. And someone told me that I never believed it. And you might be thinking, Adrian, that's not true. But I have found it to be true, and I'm almost certain you will too. I'm not saying undercut or pay people a wage so low that no one could live on it, but sometimes, and I'm only speaking from my experience as a therapist, we give away a lot of our profit and we need profit to make our businesses run, and that's okay. It's okay to say I need this because if your business is not profitable, they may not have a job long anyway. And it's always the one of the worst feelings in the world is to do those calculations and you figure out that you are almost either just breaking even or you're almost paying someone to work for you. Like, not like, oh, I'm paying them, but like, this is costing me more than what I'm bringing in. So it's okay to get real clear about those numbers. Okay. So, like I said, you can have a successful, blooming, amazing business in any economy. The secret is you just have to be clear about what you're bringing in and what you're spending. And you have to be open to changing things just a little bit. And it doesn't make you off your vision or off your goal or off of the thing that you set out to, but all things change and it's okay that they change. Well, that's it for now, guys. If you've liked what you heard, I would love it if you would share this with someone that you think would benefit from it. If you would like and subscribe this page, I just want to create content for us because I don't feel like many people create content for therapy practices, and I think we do really good work. So until next time, bye.